At this time last year, doctors in China were treating dozens of patients with an unknown pneumonia. It's hard to fathom that COVID-19 was first named in the same year a vaccine was developed for the deadly virus. Eric Sorensen explains how the pandemic paved the way for historic breakthroughs in medical science.
When Chinese television announced the first death from an unknown virus last January, the seafood market in Wuhan was already shut down. Critics say authorities were not transparent as patient numbers grew. But at that very moment, Chinese researchers shared online with the world something they just discovered, the genetic sequence of the virus. Immediately, an army of scientists across the globe put aside other work and zeroed in on this one virus.
The sharing of expertise and experiences from China is very important. So the genetic sequence was critical in all of this. It allowed us to identify the nature of the virus very, very quickly. So we knew it was a coronavirus.
With this novel coronavirus genetically understood, some scientists used snippets of messenger RNA to tell cells to build spike proteins like the ones on the virus itself. The vaccine was tested on volunteers, infecting them with the proteins. That triggered the immune system to create antibodies and T cells to attack them. And the immune response would then be ready to pounce when the real virus shows up. It was simple and, experts believed, safe.
Not flinch at all.
We never touch the virus. We make the protein. We can make it very pure, and we can inject that and have an immune response to the spike protein that will be protective.
By spring, the virus was now spreading far beyond China, described in Europe as the worst health crisis in a century. Then North America was hit.
We are now the epicenter of this crisis.
In Canada, COVID-19 arrived unseen and deadly. The country locked down.
We all need to act now. COVID-19 is a serious public health threat.
Quietly, though, in nondescript buildings around the world, from Beijing to New York, in spotless laboratories in India and in Germany, various vaccines were being developed, an international effort more cooperative than competitive.
All the vaccine manufacturers are working together, and we're all in a race to battle the disease. There's no one-upmanship here.
Labs worked flat out. Money was no object because governments put up whatever was needed.
We have collectively pledged 7.4 billion euros for vaccines, diagnostics and treatments.
Advancements were happening with unprecedented speed because so many people were available for vaccine trials and so many tested positive.
The duration of the trial is determined by how quickly you can get people testing positive for the disease. So this compressed what would have been years of data collection into weeks. It changed everything.
By summer, COVID-19 appeared to be easing up, and the vaccine still seemed very far away. But the Canadian government was securing doses by the millions from Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. Contracts for more vaccines per capita than any country in the world.
We're making sure that if one of these potential vaccines is successful, Canada and Canadians will have access to the doses they need.
The importance of those decisions would become apparent later, as a new wave of COVID-19 swept in with the autumn weather.
Our world has reached an agonizing milestone: the loss of 1 million lives from the COVID-19 pandemic.
COVID cases and hospitalizations surged and lockdowns returned. But the swiftness of the science, the funding, the trials, the vaccine production, and the global partnerships were all about to pay off.
We have a vaccine for the world.
More than one manufacturer delivered startling results.
It is a great day for science. It is a great day for humanity when you realize that your vaccine has a 90% effectiveness. That's overwhelming.
Like a December gift, the first approved vaccines from Pfizer-BioNTech were delivered. And Canadians were among the first in the world to start getting shots, a turning point in a terrible year.
It's going to give us back our families, our communities, our lives, our loved ones, and it's going to save people that we would otherwise have lost.
Vaccine development typically takes 4 years and in many cases much longer. COVID-19 took less than 1 year.
The speed is the result of a singular focus of the entirety of civilization on one problem. So I can't imagine this happening at any other point in prior human history for a number of technological and global cooperation reasons. This is one of the most magical moments in public health history.
Canada's large contracts not only bode well for vaccinating Canadians, the World Health Organization singled out this country for its commitment to share millions of excess doses through COVAX, so developing countries will not be left out.
I would like to thank Canada and Prime Minister Trudeau for committing to share surplus doses of COVID-19 vaccines.
Immunizations will take time, and the virus will still make this winter dispiriting and deadly. But one crowning accomplishment will come from 2020. Vaccines, enough for the world, have begun.
It is emotional. It's the beginning of the end.
Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.